Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be taking that first-person controller from the low poly shooter pack by Infima Games, and I'm going to be implementing it into my project and adding some custom controls. So here I have my project open, and I've already imported the low poly shooter pack. I've then created an empty scene where I can isolate and focus on just the first-person controller. So the first thing that I'm going to do is drag the first-person controller prefab into my scene. The next thing I'm going to add is a ground plane just for reference. And now at this point, if I play my project, we basically have the same setup as what's in the demo scene for the low poly shooter pack. I can walk around and I can look around, I can aim, I can reload and shoot, swap weapons. And so this is really good because it appears that nothing's broken. And so now at this point, I want to start customizing this controller by adding in my own inputs and controls. And so let's start with inputs. To do this, we're going to select our prefab and scroll down till we find the player input component. Here, if we click on the AI player input action asset, we can see the action map for the first-person controller of the low poly shooter pack. So these are all the controls that come with this first-person controller. You can see it has look, move, fire, aim, and all the other inputs. Now for the most part, this is a pretty standard set of input controls, and I like how each input is already set up for controller and mouse and keyboard. Now it appears there is a jump input, even though this pack does not contain a function for jump. Now I'm going to need to use this input for my project, but I'm going to rename it to up_down. I'm then going to remove the space key binding, and then I'll right click on the up and down and select add positive negative binding. I'll then expand this, and for positive, I'm going to add the spacebar. And for negative, I'm going to go with Left Ctrl. I then want to add another input, and I'm going to call this one roll. I'm then going to delete the binding and right click on roll and then select add positive negative binding. And for negative, I want to use Q, and for positive, I'll use E. Then if I go back to the player input component and I expand events and player, here you can see all the different callback functions that correspond to our different inputs. And right here you can see up and down, and then we also have roll. Now it looks like most of the functions that are paired to each of these inputs are contained within the character script. And so let's add some functionality to our new inputs. So I'm going to scroll up, find the character script, and open that up. Now the first thing to know about this character class is that it inherits from another class called character behavior. And so I'm going to go look at this class first. Inside this class we have a bunch of different functions, but they're all abstract functions. And so for example, here I have a public abstract function that returns a vector2 called getInputMovement. Here we can see the summary says that it returns the movement input. Now if I look at all the different references for where this function is being called, you can see that it's being used here only once inside the movement class. But I'm actually going to look at this class a little later. First, I'm going to go back to the character class. Inside the character class, I want to look for the function that's being paired to the callback for the movement input. And that is this onMove function. Inside this function, you can see that we're basically just reading the player's input and saving it into a vector2 called accessMovement. Now the first place that we can see this variable being used is right here where the script is overriding the getInputMovement function. And what this line of code is doing is it's basically making the connection between where this function is being called and the player input that we're reading in that onMove function. In other words, all this function does now is return this variable. And so now that we know how this getInputMovement function is working, we can go back to the movement script. And here within this move character function, you can see that we're getting the player's input and we're saving it into this variable. Here we're changing it from a vector2 to a vector3. We're then determining whether the player is running or walking. We're then transforming this vector into local space on the player's transform. And then finally, it's setting the velocity of the player's rigid body. And so now that I have a pretty good understanding of how the low poly shooter pack formats their inputs and controls, I can replicate the format to create my own controls. In here, I've added two abstract functions to replicate the way the rest of the script is working. The first function returns a float, and it's called getInputUp_down. The second abstract function also returns a float, and this one's called getInputRoll. Next, I'll go to the character class, and here I've created two new variables of type float, and these are to hold the different input values. Next, a little ways down in the script, here I've created the two override functions for our inputs. And for these functions, I'm just returning the same two variables that I just created. Then down at the bottom of the script, I've created the two callback functions for reading in the inputs for our variables. And then finally, in the movement script, there is this move character function. And if you remember, there was already this line of code where it's getting the player's movement input and saving it into this variable. Now I've added this line of code where I'm pretty much doing the same thing. I'm getting the player's up-down input and I'm saving it into this variable. I've then added this variable as the y component for this vector3. And then finally down at the bottom of this function where we're setting the velocity of the rigid body, I've added in the movement.y for the y component. And really I can just delete this line of code and set it to movement. And so now if I save the script and go back to Unity, I'll be able to test my added game mechanic. Now inside Unity with the prefab selected, the first thing I want to do is disable use gravity for the rigid body. And then I'll scroll down to the player input component. And for the up-down input, I just want to use the drop-down menu to go to character. And then under dynamic callback context, I want to select on, up, and down. Now if I hit play, you can see that I have all the same controls. But now if I press space, my character goes up, and if I press Control, my character goes down. And I think that's everything I'm going to cover in this video. We were able to take a deeper dive into the low poly shooter pack by Infima Games, get a better understanding of how the inputs and controls work, and I was able to add my own input and control. Now if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and subscribe to my channel so you can be up to date whenever I publish new videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.